These are corrections for homework 14. The first prompt in homework 14 was to use a for loop along with the text function to make text output that had a gradient of colors. So, for example, maybe the top line of text would be very blue, and then progressively get more and more pink for each subsequent string of text that is being output. So I've started with a for loop here that has a starting counter variable of 0, checking to see if the counter variable is still less than 400, and counting up by 25s. This is one way to do it. There are some other ways that you could do this. The start example that I have just all the text, it has a fill of black. And that's what we're going to update. I've used text size 24 to make it a little bit bigger, and I'm actually outputting I miss you, which is true, at 100 on the x-axis and then I on the y-axis. So the first one will display at 0, and then the next one at 125, then 150, 175, 100, 100, and so on and so forth. So right now, it looks like this. To use the counter variable to change the text color to make a gradient, the first step you might try is just putting in that counter variable right then. So the first I miss you will be have a fill of 0, and so that's black. And then if you just have that one parameter, it's going to give you grayscale between black and white, and then on the white background it kind of disappears. So that is a gradient. This could be an acceptable solution. If you wanted to make a color gradient though, you're going to need to use those 3 parameters RGB. So if I wanted to update this, I could say I could be the amount of red. The example I cited earlier, if we're going from red to pinkish, I could say I 0 for the green, and then 255 for the blue, and so this would give you a change from blue down to pink. The max value of I in the counter variable is 400. And as everybody I know remembers, the max possible value you could have for a color parameter is 255. So this actually gets as pink as it will get when I has a value of 255. So if you wanted to adjust this so the gradient is consistent across the display of text, you could use maybe, for example, some division, so you could more sort of equitably distribute the color change. So if I divided maybe by, let's say, 3, the color change would be a lot more subtle. You could divide it by, it's a lot more subtle, so maybe let's divide by 2. You could get now the amount of red in this function will go between 0 and 200, half of 400 because I'm divided by 2, as opposed to 0 to 400.